Welcome you all. Today in this video we are going to learn about JavaScript basics. Now we all know that JavaScript is a scripting language and this scripting language statements should be included within an HTML document. So we all know that an HTML document begins with an HTML tag and an HTML document ends with a /HTML tag. This is an opening tag, whereas this is a closing tag. All the code that is enclosed within HTML and /HTML consists of HTML section. Now every HTML document has two subsections. One is the head section and the other one is the body section. The head section begins with a head tag. You can display titles of your document over here. Once you have specified the title of the document, you can close the head tag using /head element. So whatever is enclosed within head and /head will be treated as the heading of the document. Similarly, HTML document also consists of another section which is known as body section. Now body section begins with the tag body and it ends with the tag /body. So whatever is enclosed within body and /body will be treated as HTML body section. So typically HTML has two sections. One is the head section, one is the body section. This JavaScript can either be included within the head section or within the body section of an HTML document. Let us see how the JavaScript can be included or it can be specified within an HTML document. As I have already told you, JavaScript is a scripting language and wherever are we going to insert the JavaScript, it should be enclosed within a script tag. What did I say? JavaScript should be included in an HTML document using a script tag. Now this script tag has two attributes in it. The first attribute of script tag is language and the second attribute of script tag is type. Language should be always set to JavaScript and type should be set to text or JavaScript. In short, we can say all the scripting statements will be enclosed within script and /script. So whatsoever is included in the HTML document, if it is enclosed within the script tag and /script tag, it is termed as a scripting statement. Using these two tags, scripting statements can be enclosed within an HTML document. Now let us see how it can be written. See, consider this statement. Script language is equal to JavaScript. So this is the script tag and inside the script tag I am using the first attribute language and language is assigned a value which is JavaScript. Remember, this is an attribute and this is the value which is assigned within double quotes. And this is the second attribute, type. Type should be assigned to text or JavaScript. Since this is the value, that value should be enclosed within double quotes. So using the first script tag, we have already assigned two attributes with their corresponding values. That is, language has been assigned to JavaScript and type has been assigned to text or JavaScript. Now script tag is set. Now what? Now this is the end tag /script. So entire JavaScript code will be written within the script and /script elements. Okay. Now let us see how we can include it within an HTML document. This is a typical example of an HTML document since it consists of HTML and /HTML tags in it. Within the HTML document, it has a subsection which expands from body to /body. Within the body section, I have introduced the script tags. This is a script opening and this is a script ending. Within these two tags, I can give the JavaScript code. I have used only one statement here, and the code which I have included is document.write. This is a function. What is the purpose of this function? Document.write is a function that can be used to display a message. You can display a message, simply a message displaying statement. Similar to the one cout in CPP or printf in C. This can be used to display message onto the screen. So document.write function is a JavaScript statement. And this statement can be included only within the script tags. Remember, document.write's argument should be given inside the parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, whatever details are you going to specify should be enclosed within the double quotes. These are the some of the syntactic features that you have to take into account. When this particular code will be executed, the output that you will get will be a message which displays hello world. This is the output that we will get upon executing the above code. Let us move on to further more details. Let us talk about white spaces and line breaks. JavaScript usually ignores white spaces and line breaks. That means even if user gives any number of tabs, white spaces, sequence of spaces or new lines, the JavaScript simply ignores them. Let us take a look into previous example. In the previous example, I had used the statement document.write. Before writing this statement, I had left a line. And after specifying the statement document.write, again I left a line. So altogether, here a new line is dropped and here another new line is dropped. Above all, between hello and world, there are more than one spaces. But when I got the output printed on the screen, it was just a simple word hello world with only one space in between, hello and world. What does this mean? You can leave any number of lines or you can put any number of white spaces. All of them will be treated as a single white space. So typically JavaScript ignores the white spaces and line breaks. Now let us move on to the next feature. What about semicolons? Semicolons are usually used to mark an end of the statement. It indicates where a particular statement ends and where a particular statement begins. That means if one statement has come to an end, definitely another statement is going to begin. Okay. So JavaScript usually says semicolons are optional. It is not always necessary that you have to put a semicolon to mark the end of a statement. Now, which are those circumstances? Let me explain it with the help of an example. Here before you, I have written a script tag. So whatever is written within the script tag will be treated as a JavaScript code. Within the script tag, suppose I am having two variables. Let it be variable 1, which is assigned a value 10, and another variable 2, which is assigned a value 20. Suppose these two statements are in two different lines. This is in the first line and this is in the second line. If I am putting a semicolon over here, JavaScript will accept it. But even if I am not putting a semicolon over there, JavaScript will also accept it. So this indicates semicolons are not compulsory. Only when there is only one statement in a line. So if there is only one statement in a line, semicolons are not necessary. So when are these semicolons becoming necessary? Consider this example. Here, both the variables are declared in a single line. Variable 1 equal to 10 and in the same line I am giving variable 2 equal to 20. So, if multiple statements are specified in the same line, then you have to specify clearly where a particular statement ends, and only then it will be easy for the system to identify where the next statement begins. So, only when multiple statements are given on the same line, necessity of semicolon arises. At that time, you have to clearly give the semicolon to mark the end of each statements. Clear? So here, since more than one statements are included in the same line, you have to explicitly specify where a particular statement ends. Okay, let us move on to the next feature. Now we are going to talk about case sensitivity. JavaScript is extensively case sensitive in nature. What do I mean? Suppose I am having two variables. One is average and another variable is average, again AVG. These two variables will be treated differently in JavaScript. This will be treated as one variable and this will be treated as another variable. So it clearly indicates that if you are changing the case of the variables while naming, it matters in JavaScript because both of them will be treated differently. And case sensitivity, importance of case sensitivity arises when you are naming a particular variable or you are naming function names. So while naming functions or while naming variables, you have to take utmost care that you are using variables correctly. Okay, so JavaScript is a case sensitive scripting language. Moving on to the next section, it is about comments. There are different ways of putting comments in a JavaScript. You might be knowing it because we have used many other programming languages as well. So let me talk about it. If a particular statement begins with two forward slashes, then whatever is written in that line will be treated as a comment. So two forward slashes marks single line comment. So whatever is written in this line will be treated as a comment. If you are writing something on the next line, it won't be treated as a comment because two forward slashes represents comments only for single line. So this represents single line comment. If you want to specify something as a comment, prefix it with two backward slashes. Next comes multi-line comment. Suppose you are going to give comments on multiple lines. There are many lines, all of them are comments. In such a case, either you can prefix each of them with forward slashes, or you can use slash star and star slash. So multi-line comments can be enclosed within slash star and star slash. The portion where the comments begin should be prefixed with slash star, and the portion where the comments end should be suffixed with star slash. So multi-line comments can be placed within these two symbols, and single line comments can be prefixed with double backslash. There is one more thing. In the upcoming examples, you might see symbols like angular bracket, exclamation symbol, and two hyphens together. If you see this symbol, then it clearly indicates that it marks the beginning of comment section. From here onwards, you can give comments in the JavaScript code. And whenever you see statements like which is prefixed with double backslashes, two hyphens, and a right angular bracket, this marks the end of comment section. So this is the beginning of the comment section, and this is the end of the comment section. So within these two tags, any comments can be specified. It is not that you can give only comments within the section. Comments as well as executable codes can also be specified within these two tags. Okay, so this is all about comments in JavaScript. Moving on to the next topic, let us see how you can enable the JavaScript in your system. There are certain steps that allows you to turn on or turn off JavaScript in your browser. What you have to do? Simple. You can click the menu at the top right corner of your browser and then select settings. You have to select settings. Then click on show advanced settings. Once you click on show advanced settings, under the privacy section, click again on the content settings button. And when you click on the button named content settings, under the JavaScript section, you will find two options. One says do not allow any site to run JavaScript. If you are selecting this option, what will happen? While browsing, when you come across a web page, even if the web page consists of some JavaScript codes, since you have selected do not allow, what will happen? That particular JavaScript within the web page will not be executed. But instead of selecting this particular option under the JavaScript section, if you are selecting this option which specifies allow all sites to run JavaScript, whichever sites you may visit, if that particular website or web page consists of JavaScripts within it, without any issues, that particular JavaScript will get executed in the system. So it is better recommended to select this option, allow all sites to run JavaScript. This is how you can enable JavaScript execution in your system. Okay, let us move on to the next section. Let us see how various scripts, JavaScripts, can be included in different portions of the document. In how many ways the JavaScript can be included within a HTML document? Is there only one way, or are there many ways in which you can include the JavaScript? Okay, so JavaScript's the foremost feature is its flexibility. JavaScript is flexible in nature. That means we can include JavaScript in the head section, or we can include the JavaScript in the body section, or we can include the JavaScript in both head and the body section at the same time. One more facility is there. You can also include JavaScript as an external file. Let us see how these four methods can be applied. First, moving on to the first option, that means let us see how JavaScript can be included within the head section, or what is the reason, or when should we include the JavaScript in the head section. Okay, suppose user wants to execute the script only when an event occurs. Event means suppose a user clicks on a button. Okay, so whenever the user clicks on a button, the script should work. So this is what is meant by event execution. So whenever an event occurs, the script should get executed. Only in such situations you can include the JavaScript in head section. So what did I say? When should you include JavaScript in head section? You can include the JavaScript in head section only if you wish the script to be executed when the event occurs. Otherwise, the script should not get executed. Script should be executed only when event occurs. Okay, so in such situations, you have to include the script within the head section. Let us see how this can be done. Okay, so here the HTML section begins, and within the HTML section we are having a head section. So from head to /head is the span of head section, and this is the span of body section. This is where the body spans. Let us see how this is going to work. When this particular web page is loaded, everything inside the body will get executed. I repeat, when this particular web page is loaded within the browser, whatever is written within the body section will get executed. That means, since within the body a message is written, click here for the result, so that particular message will be displayed as such on the screen. Click here for the result. Along with this message, a button will be displayed. What button? It is an input type button, and whose value is displayed as say hello. A button whose value is displayed as say hello. And when the user clicks on the button, on click, what should happen? Say hello function is called. That means this indicates that upon clicking on this button, this particular function should be called. And what is this function? This is a user defined function. Where is this function written? This function's definition is written within the head section. So let us move on to the head section. Now within the head section, we are having a script tag that spans between script and /script. So all the JavaScript code will be written within these two elements. Here I have written the definition of the function say hello. So function say hello prints a message alert hello world. So this is a function which simply displays a message. What message? Hello world. Now what I am trying to say is the script which is written within the head section will not be executed when the page is loaded by the browser. So when will this script will get executed? Only upon the execution of the, or only upon the event execution. When did the event occur? When the user clicks on the button. Where is it written? It is written in the body section. So when the page is loaded by the browser, body portion will get executed. Whatever is written within the body will be getting executed. It displays a button, and upon clicking on the button, only then event occurs. Okay, button click is an event, and whenever the event occurs, the function will be invoked. When the function is invoked, the message hello world will be displayed on the screen. So this is how script is included within the head section. You can include the script within the head section only if you want the script to be executed when the event occurs. Otherwise the script won't be executed. Okay. Now let us move on to the second category. That means we are going to see how JavaScript can be included within the body section. Okay. If the user wishes to run a script as soon as the page is loaded. What did I say? If the user wishes to run a script as soon as the page is loaded, then definitely you have to write the scripting code within the body itself. Irrespective of any action, any script will get executed. Okay, so if you want to get the script executed, whatever may happen, whenever the page is loaded, if you want the script to be getting executed, then you have to definitely include the script within the body section. Okay, let us see how this can be done. Consider this example. In this example, this whole thing is the HTML section, this is the head section, and this is the body section. Within the body section, I am going to include the script tags. So this is where the script tag lies. Within the script tag, I have included only one executable statement, which is a document.write function, and this function simply displays a message on the screen. So this is a typical clear-cut case of a simple example. Okay, now you might be knowing what is the difference between writing a script code within the body section or writing the script code within the head section. Let us move on to the third category, where we are going to include script tag both in the head section as well as in the body section. Let us see how this can be done. So this time I am going to include the script both in body and head section. So this is where the HTML section begins. The head spans from this area to this area. Within the head section, the script spans from here to here. At the same time, this HTML document also has a body section which spans from this area to this area. Within the body section, the script spans from this to this. So we have already seen that both head and the body section includes scripts separately. Let us see how this program is going to be executed and what will be the result. So whenever this page is loaded, the body section scripts will work automatically. And let's see what has been written in the body script. Script tag has been opened, document.write hello world, and the script has been closed. So whenever the page gets loaded, the message hello world will be displayed on the screen. Soon after this, a button will also be displayed with the message say hello. And when the user tries to click on it, it calls a function. And function definition can only be written in the head section. Let us move on to the head section. Within the head section, again I have written a script tag, and this is the end script. Within these two tags, I have written the definition of the function. Whenever the function calls, this particular function definition will be getting executed. And at that time, a message will be displayed, which is also an alert message which displays hello world. So typically the output consists of two messages. One is this hello world followed by a button which displays say hello. When the user clicks on this button, again another message will be displayed which also alerts by displaying hello world. So in this way, JavaScript can be included both in the head section as well as in the body section. If you are writing it in the body section, it will be executed as soon as the page is loaded. Whereas if you are writing it in head section, the particular script will only be executed whenever the event occurs. Otherwise, the code will not get executed. Now comes the last category. How you can include JavaScript is in an external file. Okay, so sometimes we may have certain codes that are repeatedly used by many other programs. A particular code fragment which can be used repeatedly by many other programs, or a function which is used repeatedly at many different instances within the same program. Like what to say, you can say taking the average of 10 numbers. This is counted once, but this same value is used by many other functions also within the same program, or this particular code or the value can be utilized by different functions of different programs. In such circumstances, instead of writing the code again and again, you can include the code within a separate file, and the file can be saved with an extension .js. Any file name, but the extension should be .js. This means this file consists of a JavaScript code, so that whichever program wishes to include this script within it can include it as an external file. Okay, let us see how this can be done. Consider the example. Here, this is the external file name .js. This is a JavaScript file. Within the file, I have written a function, nothing else. Within this JavaScript file, I have written just a function. Remember, this is not an HTML document. This is clearly a JavaScript file which consists of only JavaScript code. Now you might be thinking, why have I not written the script tags? Script tags only be included if JavaScript is specified within an HTML document. So within an HTML document, JavaScript can be included only if it is between script elements. If I am not using any HTML document, then JavaScript can be used without the script tags. So typically this is a JavaScript file which consists of only one particular function in it, and that function simply displays the message hello world. Let us see how this function can be called within another HTML document. Now I am going to write an HTML file. This is an HTML file. It has a body section as well as a head section. Within the head section, I have written a script tag. Within the script tag, I have used an attribute src. In all previous examples, I had used two attributes. One was language, another was type. Language was set to JavaScript by default and type was set to text or JavaScript. In addition to these two attributes, I have used one more attribute, which is src, which indicates source. src means source. Now, source is assigned by a file name. src equal to filename.js. That means source is a JavaScript file. When will this be executed? Within the body section, you might be having some buttons in it. Whenever upon execution the user clicks on that button, then this particular head section will get activated. And within the head section, the script code starts to get executed. While executing the script code written within the head section, it searches for the source. And the source is in a JS file. At that time, the reference goes to that particular JS file. And in this way, the function written somewhere else will get executed in this particular HTML document. So in this way, that particular function can be called or invoked wherever we want it to be get executed. So in this way, if it is written as a separate external file, any program can call it and any program can get it executed. So in this way, JavaScript can be included in 4 different ways. It can be included only in the body section, or it can be specified only in the head section, or it can be specified in both body and head section, or at last it can be specified as a separate external file. So these are all the basics of JavaScripts. In the coming videos, we will learn more about JavaScript. Hope the concepts being explained here are all clear to you. Hope you all are following what I am saying. Hope the concepts are all made easy for you to learn. Keep watching the videos, support me, subscribe the channel if you are not yet subscribed, and thank you for watching.